Hey, what is up everyone? Today we have a big Honda pressure washer here. Let's see, probably roughly 4,000 PSI. It's a GX 390 on it, 13 horsepower Honda. It is a pull, so it's going to be a little rough to start, but the owner says this engine runs. He just tried it, but the pump itself is bad. This is a section of 3 that I've got. 2 that need new pumps. This is the second one. Watched my first one for the removal of a stubborn pump. And this is going to be the installation of a new pump. Excuse me. So, first things first, we need to make sure that everything runs. And it does. I'm not going to show you, it's just runs, just believe me. So we're going to get started with the pump removal and go from there. Not 100% sure on how he determined it needed a new pump. I think that's what he was told. And from the milkiness of right there, I would kind of agree. That usually just means water though. So the pump itself might be good, just needs to be changed, but he gave me a brand new pump. So we're going to go with his original plan. So first thing we need to do is remove these 4 mounting bolts. I like to remove the ones down here before I remove the ones up here. That way it doesn't want to go and it makes it a lot easier. I'm going to do that and we'll take it off. Something you most definitely want to do right now is at least have the machine turned off. I'm going to go one step above and unplug the spark plug. You're going to be spinning the shaft, more likely or not. When I took this off, I already spun it a little bit. But the last thing you want to do is have this turned on, and that's just a dangerous mess. Now when I took these bolts off, they were a tad rusty. So I can imagine the shaft is pretty much rusted on there. Is this a vented area? I don't think so. Well, just in case, let's take a rubber mallet. Okay, you are going to shake and dance for this part because I'm going to be hitting it, but just know I'm just going to hit it. I usually freeze it up. If not, then we'll have to go drastic measures. Now at this point, if you have yet to hear your engine run, you should do it now. You don't want to install a new pump and have it not work. Right now, I have my drill with a wire brush on the end of it. I'm going to take some time. I'm going to clean up that shaft because it was pretty rough to get that off there. Really, technically, I just don't really like doing this. I had to pry a little bit right here, so it's a little marred. Not bad. Just to kind of break it free. Once it's broken free, some persuasion from that really kind of pushed it over the edge, and eventually it just came right off. So, you know, it's not too bad, but we don't want to make it any harder for us to install it. So I'm going to get that cleaned up. Due to the fact these rarely die of motor problems, usually pump problems, I don't want the next person to have to deal with what I had to do. So I'm going to take some anti-seize. I'm going to put it on its shaft. This is going to help hold the key in too, but generally I like to, if possible, have the key facing up. You don't need a horrendous amount, you just need an even, thin coat. Let's talk about how you go about purchasing a pump. Well, you have to measure the shaft size. If you don't know, or if you're not replacing it with the exact same pump, you're going to have to remove it like we did, measure it, and from there, find a pump that fits your orientation, vertical, horizontal, doesn't really matter. And that will have the same shaft size. Something that is important to note is if yours, check to see if yours comes with a key. Sometimes they do not. Usually they do, but sometimes they do not. So, look in the description if it comes with a key. If it does not, I do kind of recommend buying a new key. It's not needed, but I mean, if you're replacing a pump, you probably already have a key. It could be real difficult and just not the highest of quality of keys because it's been, most likely rust has been on there and whatnot, but it's up to you. Next, I'm going to look at the orientation of where that key is sitting on the pump. It's roughly straight up and down. So, that's good news. I say that because that's going to make our lives easier. With the engine still off with the spark plug out, I'm going to rotate this. So the shaft is also, unfortunately, that I'm pretty sure is top dead center. So it's a little hard to get it there. And when you do, sometimes it likes to roll back the other way. We'll have to start all over. Did we get a key in here? This is the problem with using other people's purchases. Because of this literal exact same problem. We now do not have a key. It's probably in the other pump. And it is. Okay. I'm gonna see if I have a key that will work. I usually keep them, but if not, we'll have to remove the key from the other pump. Got the key out. If you don't know how to do that, it can get stuck in there just as easily as the shaft was. But more or less, what you end up having to do is, I just take a smaller screwdriver. I generally don't mind abusing, and I hit it. Usually it moves enough, and the side you're hitting will kind of leach up from the surface, and you just take it out, pry it out, clean it. That's what I did. It's not too difficult. Same thing if the key is stuck on the shaft, you just hit it. Except with the shaft, see how there's like a little ramp at the end? Eventually it will just go to that point where it will lift right off the shaft. So now that disaster is averted. We are going to just simply install it like so. Now when you do this, you need to make sure the key is not moving. Because if it is, that could potentially start to become a problem. I don't think it is, but I'm gonna spend a little time. I want to work it on there. It's really boring. Refrain from hitting it. This is a brand new pump, so try not to abuse it. And there we go. The anti-seize we put on there will usually help us out quite a bit. I don't know what exactly. As soon as I turned you off, I just stood a little bit further back and slipped right into place. Now the hardware it came with did not come with any washers. At least none that will fit this bolt for whatever reason. So if it didn't come with them, I'm not going to be using them. Doesn't seem right. Get those started. I like to start all of them first. That way you can make sure, oops, they're all good to go, and then you can start cranking down them. You can also put a little anti-seize on these. Wouldn't be a horrible idea. But these, it's not that important. Now we're going to get one tight. Almost there. I don't like to use the impact for this one because those threads on the aluminum case just love to do nothing more than strip right out. For whatever reason, only on pressure washers. Now that we have that done, I'm going to pull on the pull cord. See if everything binding or anything like that. It does not appear like it is. That's mainly to double check the key didn't like fall out, because you can't really see once you get past a certain point. I'm going to, everything looks good, just sink all those down, go from there. If yours does not come with a additional hardware, use your own. I mean, the old one probably is fine unless you broke it, but if it comes with its own hardware, the thickness of the actual pump where it connects to the motor can be different on whatever brand of pump you have. So usually the hardware that comes with it is going to be for, you know, the pump that you have. Just for example, these, well, I guess I could use the washers on that. It didn't come with it, so I'm not going to use it. But for example, these were a lot shorter than the ones that came with the old pump, and that's just because it was a different design. So I'm going to get those synced down, and hopefully we're good. Okay, now we are good to go, except for one final detail. This is to this pump, or this style of pump specifically. I've never really seen them not come with oil. Sometimes they come with oil in a container you have to fill. They usually come with oil. This comes pre-oiled, and this is the replacement for that little plug right there. And if you lift up that warning label, it says before you start this, you have to remove that plug and install this, because this is a vented cap. That is not vented. That is for shipping only. So if you get one of these in your package, very important, go ahead and replace it. And while you're in there, double check there's oil. Like I said, they should be providing it to you. If not, don't just put any oil in there. Get an oil specifically made for pressure washer pumps. Engine oil has all kinds of stuff good for engines, not so good for pumps. Special pump oil, and you should be fine. And just in case, I usually keep, you know, some on hand. It might be a little low, you don't know. Like I said, high pressure pump oil, special for pressure washer pumps. That is a Cat pumps. I mean, they work good. I never have a problem. Not saying they're the greatest or even the only, just that's the one I have in my closet. I did check the oil on this, and just now actually. I never actually heard this run, I was told it ran. And I mean, the gas smells good, everything has a brand new filter in it, brand new spark plug. Odd that the oil isn't done though, don't know. Anyway, moving on. We have the pump installed, everything should be tight. You can potentially put removable thread locker on the bolts mounting the pump. I wouldn't use permanent, because if you do try to take it off, more likely than not, they're already going to have corrosion and rust on them. You don't need to add permanent thread locker to that equation. For removable though, that's just going to make sure they don't wiggle out. I'm going to plug in the spark plug. There we go. Turn this to on. I think that is choke on. Let's give it one last pull before with it off. Make sure nothing's binding or... Nah, that should be fine. Okay. Choke. Let's try it there. Wow, that started without the choke on. That's amazing. But yeah, it works. Obviously it's a new pump, so the pressure should be there. I'm not going to worry about that. I even have a pressure washer hose to test it. But it's a brand new pump that was purchased a few days ago. Not by me, by the owner. So if he has any problem, I'll be more than happy to remove it. And he can return it under warranty. Excuse me. And take it from there. But I would check it if I were you. He's going to check it when he comes to get it. I do not have a wand that's rated for this PSI. I don't use something like this. In between you and me, my water supply here is pretty nasty flow wise, so I couldn't even begin to use something like this effectively, so I never even bother. A little residential one. Next, we're good. I'm going to change the oil. Like I said, the air filter is good, the spark plug is good, the fuel looks brand new. Obviously it ran under its own power, first pull, low idle, so I'm not anywhere concerned this is going to be a bad machine. This goes for residential pumps, same exact thing. There's really no difference. The only thing is the shaft is going to be a different size. Everything else is just a wee bit bigger on this one compared to those. That's it. Knowing that, I'll let you go. Have a good evening. Follow me on Instagram at SmallEngine101. I'll see you in the next video. If you have any comments or questions, leave a comment below. And don't forget to subscribe. Have a good night.